Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me for another Scream Queens review. Today it is Season 1, Episode 5, titled Pumpkin Patch. And I have to say that I made it pretty clear I didn't think last week's episode was great, but this week Scream Queens is back and as good as ever. I thought the great humor was back, I thought the great soundtrack was back, and this whole episode just a lot more happened, and it was a great improvement from last week. So we get a much better opening scene, so the show Listen to Me, thank you for that, which has a lot of great musical references, and it's also a better setup for the rest of the episode with Chanel number 5 not leaving the scene too happy. So we start out the main part of the episode, and we find out that the dean has canceled Halloween for safety's sake, all Halloween activities, and this makes a lot of people very upset, including Chad Radwell in his only scene in the episode, which was great as usual. Anybody who's watched any of my reviews knows I think this is a great character, and he only had one scene, but hey, we'll take what we can get. So one of the main plot lines of this episode is that Chanel number 5 is very upset about what's been going on, and Hester decides she wants to team up with her, or so she says, to take down Chanel. And the way they go to Jennifer and get her to agree to be the third person in this plan is hilarious, as Chanel number 5 actually gets arrested, set up by the girls, and we also get to see her in jail, which is interesting and a little weird. Now, the other main plot line in this episode is Grace, her father, Pete, and Gigi going to the dean for help to find Zayday, who is still missing, who we don't see a lot of in this episode. And we find out that the dean says she's working on it. She hired Denise to find her. The others aren't convinced that this is necessarily the best course of action, being Denise's track record so far, so they all go with her and agree to help her. Then we go to the next part of the episode, which is interesting, and we find out that Hester and Jennifer set up Chanel number 5 to take complete blame for sending Chanel to jail. And boy, you just can't trust that Hester. And now I guess Jennifer isn't trustworthy either. So Chanel is punished by having to set up the pumpkin patch, which was kind of humorous, as she's there with her 2 boyfriends. And let's just say the one she decides not to leave with, he loses the girl and a lot more than that. Not a good day for this guy at all. But the other 2 escape unharmed from a pretty good scene. And then basically most of the rest of this episode is the search for Zayday with some oddly effective search scenes, which were kind of corny and cheesy but kind of creepy as well. And they don't find Zayday, but Gigi's behavior is a little peculiar, as she zaps our killer with some kind of taser or something, but then when everybody comes in the room to find out what happened, she says that he got away. That will come back at the end of this episode. So we get one more important scene before the end of the episode, and Chanel decides it's time to vote for sorority president. And, you know, she's shocked when Zayday comes back, and she gives an interesting but strange story about how she escaped from the killer, who she thinks might be in love with her, which is very odd and interesting. And Grace comes back at this point as well, and we're basically left with a cliffhanger scene. We don't know who will win and become president yet. I have my suspicions, but I'm not going to give that away. We'll wait till next week for that. And then we get a great end scene, our best end scene yet. Let's just say we get Gigi and another character who it's been hinted that she might be connected with, but never told us outright. Now we pretty much know that Gigi's at least somewhat connected to what's been going on. And I just thought this episode was a nice mix of humor and drama, and it just flowed a lot better than last week. I definitely enjoyed this episode as much as the first episodes, so I give this one a 4 out of 5 for Pumpkin Patch, and I'm glad Scream Queens is back on the right track, in my opinion, and I look forward to next week. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. You can leave a comment. Tell me what you think if you'd like, and thanks for watching.